All right, guys, we've got UFC on Fox 30 coming up this weekend. It's a great card, and everybody loves the Fox cards because it's over before the crack of dawn. You know, UFC likes to drag these cards out until literally the crack of dawn, and then it's just sometimes it can be such a task just to watch the fights. But these UFC on Fox cards, they start so early. It's usually over by like 10, 11 o'clock. Here on the East Coast where I'm at, it's usually over by 11 or 12 o'clock. And to me, 10 or 11 o'clock really. And that's a perfect card for me. I don't mind watching fights in the middle of the day. I really don't. I would love to do something else. At the end of the night, it's late, it's Saturday night. I would love to do something else to kind of we have time to talk about the fights. Oh, also, I want to shout out Coach Shelton Harrison for having me on his live chat a couple of weeks ago. Before I went before I went MIA, he had me on his live stream. The channel is CSH Combat Sports. Go ahead and subscribe to that channel. It's a whole lot of fun. He always has great panels, and he's always talking about the latest in women's MMA. So I just want to say thank you to him for having me on the channel, on the live stream. But yeah, you want to be able to do things like that after the fight. So I know everybody loves the Fox card. Everybody loves the Fox card. So anyways, we've got Eddie Alvarez on UFC on Fox 30. He's going to be rematching Dustin Poirier. Basically it's a rematch because the other fight was, how did that fight? It was ended because of an illegal. Actually, I can't remember. It was an illegal knee. I can't remember the details of it, but I know that something happened like that, and it ended up being a no contest. So the problem is, and this is what I want to talk about, is this is Eddie Alvarez's last fight on his contract. This is his last fight on his fight contract. I'm not sure what that means for Eddie Alvarez. Because usually on this last fight, if you've made it all the way to the last fight on your contract and you have not renegotiated your contract, usually the UFC gives you a very tough fight. They give you a tough fight. And then when you lose it, you have no negotiating power. And then you can't really get that much money in terms of, trying to renegotiate your contract. So I hope that this works out for Eddie Alvarez. I really do. There's nothing that you can say. If he wants to be a free agent, then he's just going to go ahead and test that free agency water. Now, we know that Eddie Alvarez can go anywhere and fight. Eddie Alvarez he's been a champion everywhere. He can go anywhere and fight. He really is a branded fighter. I hope that I can see him, leave his gloves in the octagon. When he retires, I want to see that happen in the UFC. To me, he's a great fighter. He's been everywhere, and now he's at the top of the mountain. I just love to see him stay there. I don't want to see him slowly just go down and start fighting for lesser leagues and things like that. Now, we saw him leave Bellator, but this is Bellator back before it was Scott Coker's Bellator. It was Bjorn Rebney's Bellator, and he was, just a shady character. Incredibly shady character running that promotion, basically. So I hope that this doesn't end ugly like that Bellator contract ended. I really hope that this UFC contract doesn't end ugly. The problem is Dana White is the guy, and everything with Dana White is ugly. Everything. If you're suspicious about it, then that means that it's going to get ugly. And right now, I'm feeling very suspicious about this Eddie Alvarez card. This Eddie Alvarez fight being his last fight. What he needs to do is go out there and knock out Dustin Poirier. Go out there and knock out Dustin Poirier, and then he can negotiate whatever he wants, basically. Within reason, he can be able to negotiate whatever he wants. I don't know what these fighters are doing or what these fighters are thinking about, but they need to get together. They need to organize so that they can protect themselves from situations like this. If he becomes a free agency, that guy could be fighting for pennies, man. He could be absolutely fighting for pennies if he doesn't actually get a knockout right now. Now, I understand that he's a fighter and his pay is based on performance. I'll never walk away from that sentiment. Your pay is based on performance. But still, I think that your pay should at least be something that you can, help you live your life, live a healthy lifestyle. These fighters have to spend a whole bunch of money getting their nose fixed when it gets broken, getting their arms, whatever, when it gets broke. Everything's breaking, everything's busted, everything's bruised. They're spending half of their check at the hospital. So I really hope that the UFC does Eddie Alvarez right about this contract. I want to continue to see him in this lightweight division. to me, he's a staple for me in this new lightweight division. He's one of the staples. So, and I've always liked Eddie Alvarez, so I would love to continue to see him in the UFC. Good luck to him in this fight this weekend against Dustin Poirier. I also like Dustin Poirier, so it's going to be tough for me to logically pick a fighter to, pick a win. But don't worry, those fight picks are coming out a little bit later. I will be putting those up hopefully on Thursday so that everybody can have a chance to kind of, either say I'm wrong or I'm right, or let me know your fight picks, and we could kind of chit chat about it a little bit. Anyways, in the meantime, hit that subscribe button.